And you'll arrange as well.
Okay, so welcome everybody again. Now that I've pressed record, so we're going to put these Zooms up. We've started a YouTube channel called MFPA Coffee Mornings, and we've started putting out, I think Rob's is up there. We've put Rob's up the other week, and I need to get around to put the others on there, and I'll do that hopefully over the weekend. I'd like everyone, those of you who haven't met Brandur before, Brandur is our artist from Iceland.
Oh.
And
Hello.
I don't know whether
Hello,
most
Brandur.
of you will know that my wife Lucy has a fascination with Iceland. We went to Iceland. We've been 4 times, and we went on our honeymoon to Iceland. So we know Iceland really well. And I'm just letting people in. We went the third time we went. We met a lady, an Icelandic lady who I can't even remember what her name is. Brandur. What was?
Bachmann.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
And she was painting. She joined us as a student artist, and then Brandur's joined in. How many years have you been with us now, Brandur?
Is it 7? I think 7.
7 years.
I think so.
So should we start? Can you tell us a little bit about your family and maybe a bit about your childhood and the sort of things you got up to when you were younger?
Sure. Well, my mom and I, we were alone growing up, and she is a geophysicist. So I kind of grew up following her around the world, and she would go all around distributing seismometers. So her main focus when I was a child was to listen to the vibrations underground in Iceland. Iceland is a exceptionally volcanic country, so we have a lot of active volcanoes. So her job was to use the vibrations to kind of get a clearer picture of what's going on below us and how the Earth is going to behave. So we also traveled a lot around the world. So I got many opportunities to visit England, for example, and we have some adopted English family in Swanage. So we've been going there almost every year, and I like to think that's why I learned my manners.
But yeah, what British gentleman's manners, you mean?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of a mixture of the Viking heritage and the British manners. I think they helped me calm down a bit.
Brilliant. And you were able-bodied, obviously, when you were younger.
Yep. I was fit as a fiddle until I was about 24, 25.
And what did you do? What did you do up until that point, from sort of leaving school and 24? What did you do?
Well, I was studying to become an astrobiologist, which is somebody who researches life out in space and kind of how life originates. So I was doing a physics bachelor's in physics when I started losing my mobility. But before that, I'd been working as a ranger every summer. So I would be out in the highlands of Iceland looking after tourists and protecting nature.
And what were the first signs of your disability? And tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so I used to play basketball when I was younger and for many years. And I noticed first that something was going on when I would run back and forth normally, get a bit tired, and then suddenly I wouldn't be able to lift up my right leg. It would kind of just hang there. But then I would relax a moment, and then it would kind of reactivate and come back. And then I would do that again, run back and forth, and my leg would drop out. Then over a period of like 4 years, it was a very slow progression. I kind of gradually lost more and more of my mobility, started affecting my hands. So I would clench up my fist and wouldn't be able to unclench. And then this progression led it so that I ended up in a hospital for like 2-3 years while they were poking me and trying all kinds of different treatments that didn't work. And yeah, I was completely paralyzed below the neck during my low point. And then they gave me some antibiotics. After that, I stopped getting worse. And ever since, if I maintain my training, I've even been able to gain a little bit of mobility. So that's kind of where I'm at today. I'm doing a lot of training, and I went to Nepal. I've gone 2 times now and spent a few months with a very funny, cool character called Raouf, and he has been helping me kind of activate some new muscles and nerves, and it's been a very fascinating journey.
And when you were younger, yeah, I mean, you're obviously a very bright person. What about art-wise? Were you good at painting or drawing at school?
No, it's funny. I never did any art. I would at most I would doodle when I was bored in school, but I never related to art. I think it's because of my upbringing. I was surrounded by scientists who were very logical, and I didn't find kind of the logic or purpose of art. And then when I finally did, it was because of a book that I read about how the brain works. And I realized that using only logic to approach the world is like only using half your brain. So I wanted to find something to kind of activate this creative side of me, and painting was just something that was accessible at the moment. And at that time, I was still kind of able to move my arm a little bit. So first try, I was holding the brush in my hand, but I became very frustrated because I couldn't make straight lines. And then I just had the thought of trying to bite the pencil and see if that would work. So I did my first tiny little painting just as an experiment. And then I did 2 more where yeah, they were quite childish, but I enjoyed it. And then it was only 2-3 days after I had done the first experiment when Etta, she actually heard about my trials through one of the nurses, and she came and found me and asked me if this was something that I was interested in, wanted to do, and told me that if I was, she would make herself available to help me and guide me, and that's how she kind of paved the road for me.
And Edda was a TV personality, wasn't she?
Yeah, Edda was quite famous in Iceland. She was an actor and director in the theater, and if you go to YouTube, you can search for all kinds of traces of her. And obviously, there are not very many actors in Iceland. There are not very many of anything, but so she was kind of one of the people who would voice nearly every cartoon and every movie that would come abroad.
At the moment, you live in Reykjavik, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think when we came to see you the first time, we came to visit you in your apartment. Is that like an assisted living apartment? Have you moved from there now?
I have moved from there, and that's not an assisted living apartment. It's like a disabled complex. So there are a lot of people with various disabilities that live there, and it's a bit disputed place because it's kind of like a place where people have no other place to go end up. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was very interesting company that I had there. But no, since then I've moved out. I have my own flat that I rent from like a housing association for disabled people, and it's quite nice. So I have a little garden for my dog
And you've
3
got a
rooms.
dog?
Yes, I have a Labrador.
Yeah, so Brandur, like most of our artists, has their own social media, and there's a really nice video of him out painting. There was a video of you that was taken with a drone, wasn't there? That I saw. Is that on the Facebook page?
Could be. There are a few videos. I was when the drone technology was emerging. I started a Facebook page, and which led to us starting the Drone Association. So we were there's a lot of the drone videos. Early ones are me and my escapades.
So when Edda I think organised the exhibition at the City Hall.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? And were you? I can't remember how far that back is now. Did you have work in that exhibition, or did you come to the exhibition?
No, I came to it, but I think I was just starting out when you came over for that one. So that was maybe what, 6 years ago.
I was thinking about the other day when I did the program this week. I was getting a shirt out of my wardrobe to wear, and I pulled the shirt out, and Lucy says, "Well, you should wear that one because it's the Icelandic shirt." What happened was when Lucy and I came to Iceland to come to the exhibition, BA lost our luggage, and so my suit and everything was, I think it flew to the Bahamas or somewhere. I arrived as I normally do when I go on holiday, with my shorts and my t-shirt on, and it was snowing, or it was really cold and wet and damp, and I was meant to be saying some words at the opening of this exhibition, and so I had to go and buy a new shirt. So I went and bought a new shirt, and we call it my Iceland shirt now. But luckily, 2 days later, we got our luggage back. But so art-wise, then isn't something that's in you. It's something that you're gradually learning. And so, since you've taken it up, have you had any tutors? Have you had anyone coming to tell you a bit more about what you should be doing?
Yeah, I started out with Edda's tutor, Derek Mundell, who he's so it was nice. We got along very well. He used to be a chemist before he became an artist, so he kind of was another example of somebody abandoning hyperlogic and going into more creative lifestyle. So that was really good. And I've also had another tutor whose name was Stephen, and he is quite acclaimed portrait artist in Iceland, and he has taught me the old masters techniques, where you go from brownish colors and get the tonalities, and then you work from there. And I do like those methods, but I've noticed that I kind of gravitate towards a more kind of rushed style. I enjoy finishing a painting in one sitting if I can, and doing like plein air paintings. But I'm trying to get myself to do more like letting it dry in between and then continuing. But I have this issue: if I start a painting and I like it, I have real difficulty in kind of doing more to it. If it's already decent, frequently I will go and do too much, and then I feel like I've ruined the painting somehow.
And do you're obviously, I mean, I'm saying obviously, but you're obviously a mouth painter. So do you use anything to hold your brush with, or are you one of us that just shoves a brush in your mouth?
I did that for the longest time, but then I got a bit tired of the brushes dissolving in my mouth and always crunching on the paint from the brushes. So I've started using mouthpieces, and I've also noticed that if I do, the brushes are longer and it doesn't exert my neck as much. That's it's been a limiting factor for me, is that when I finally really get into the painting, I will paint too long. So I should paint maybe an hour, but then 3 hours later, I'm still kind of wanting to finish it. And but then my neck is so tired and hurting afterwards that I can't paint for a day or two afterwards. And the pain kind of does what's the word, like make it harder to go start again, because then I start kind of fearing the pain in a way. So I'm trying to learn to pace myself when I'm painting, and
do a bit each day is the best way, I think.
yeah, make a schedule.
What about medium? What's your favorite paints that you use?
I mostly use water soluble oils. They don't smell as much as the normal oil, and there's something about, like, I kind of have the analogy to clay. So you start working with it, and you can work with the colors for a long time after you've applied them to the canvas. While like with acrylics, once you put them down, they're very quick to dry. So I do use acrylics, especially when I'm painting outside. I have a little set which I quite like. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like oil is somehow more grown up. I don't know if that's makes sense.
And what about size of canvas? Do you stick to sort of a same size, or are you painting? Do you have an easel that you can manipulate that will help you move the canvas, or are you static?
Yeah, no, I am static. I have I've been trying to do bigger canvases recently, but I never used to, because they would hurt my neck more trying to reach out to the corners. But since I started using an extender, it's been easier to slightly bigger, and I do notice that they are more popular also. But I mostly did the kind of what is it, 20-inch frames?
20-inch canvases.
Yeah, so not so big.
Paint on canvas board, or do you paint on a stretch canvas?
I always paint on a stretched canvas, even when I'm just goofing around.
And why?
Or I figured, a lot of the time I would sit down and just start doing something, not knowing what I'm gonna do, and then I never know when I'm gonna end up with something that I really like, and I prefer having those on stretched canvases.
So is it that you're painting things from life, or are you painting from your imagination?
Or I do both. I kind of my rhythm has been to do from images, and then I'll do maybe if I'm doing something new, like I did a series of eruption paintings. Then I painted maybe 10 after an image, but then once I'd done that, I kind of had I had a methodology that I extracted from that, and then I started painting volcanoes and eruptions just from my imagination, not with any framework. So I kind of use the images to learn how to paint this or that. Then once I have that in my mind, then I like to kind of I like the process of just painting without thoughts. Those are the times when I like my paintings the most, when I kind of just drift out of into kind of meditation. And if I'm painting from a picture, I don't get that state as easily as when I'm just following something.
And is this sort of way of painting, is that something that you've picked up in the last couple of years since you've been going abroad? Or is it something that you've always tried to do is, be a bit calmer and.
Yeah, I think so. And I've noticed that my emotional state affects my paintings a lot. So if I'm agitated or feeling off for some reason, then I usually don't like the paintings that I make during those states. And but when I'm like the other day during summer, I had this moment where I felt really good. I was surrounded by friends. It was a beautiful day, and I had some recent accomplishments, and I just really felt like painting, just to kind of capture that moment in a painting. And I just painted the view outside my door of a pavement and some grass. And it didn't really matter what I was painting, but I did notice that I've been a lot of people like that painting. So I've been interested in how people do seem to pick up on these things, kind of your emotional state as you are painting. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I paint a lot. I paint a lot easier when I'm happier.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I've had a bad night, trying to get started is something that is impossible for me. So I have to try to make myself, normally by having a nice breakfast.
That's a good start.
Yeah. So with the mouth and foot painters, then, so you came to see the exhibition in Reykjavik, and then you joined us. So how did you? I mean, it was obviously through Edda, was it, that you heard about the mouth and foot painters?
Yeah, at Derek.
And you sent your work in to the head office, and they said,
Yeah.
you've got a talent.
Or you might have a talent, emerging talent. I don't think I was very good at the time, but I've gotten a bit better, I think.
And getting your you get some money each month from the association now, and so that helps pay for your art materials and your tutor if you want one and things like that.
Yeah, I have been going to courses also, which have been really fun, and also create a pattern of painting more frequently. But obviously now due to COVID, it's a bit hard to keep that up. But yeah, and I also, I've been dreaming of coming over and meeting some mouth painters, both in England and other countries, and learning from them.
That can hopefully happen. We're just about to send out our letter. It'll go out in the next couple of days, hopefully, inviting the artists to come for an artists meeting here in the UK. So get the 8th of April, if we're allowed to. We're aiming for the 8th of April, the weekend of the 8th of April. So maybe you can come over for that.
Cool. I will mark it in my calendar.
Come and meet some of these artists.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So going back to your comment about the Grand Masters, the great masters and famous artists of the past, do you have any that tickles your boat? No, is that the right? No, floats your boat, tickles your
tickles your fancy. I don't know.
Tickles your fancy. All right, that's right.
Yeah,
your fancy and tickles your boat. Yeah.
I do kind of like the impressionists. I always like Van Gogh. I like his style, and Monet and Renoir. These guys have kind of done something which I like. I've never been a big fan of like hyper realism. I'm of the thought that we can take pictures which do the work much better. So let's just
I don't see that. I don't see the point of hyper. You might as well just take a photo, in my view. But
yeah, I think it's just showing off, like, hey, look how good I am. And I always like the way that Picasso did it. He did a phase where he kind of showed, look, I can do anything. But now I'm just going to do these really weird paintings of women.
And are you developing your own style? Are you some of your paintings, are you following a pattern? I mean, I over the years definitely have a style of painting now that I go back to when I'm not feeling good. It's something that I can do with my eyes closed, and I know that I can do it well.
Yeah.
Is there a style that you're getting into that you're really, you know, it's saying, this is me, this is what I want to paint?
Yeah, I think I'm still looking for that. I am kind of playing around still. So I've been doing a lot of paintings, kind of trying out a Van Gogh style one painting, and then I will do something completely different after that. So right now I have an exhibition in City Hall, which nobody gets to go to see because it's closed due to COVID.
You should do a virtual one. You should get someone to go in with the camera and film it, and so we can all see it online.
Yeah, I will. The one, it's actually interesting. I was already planning this exhibition, but then there was a woman who came and asked me if I wanted to be part of an art fair, which is yearly here in Iceland. It's called Art Without Borders, or in Icelandic, it's a List án landamæra. And they've been going on for, I think, about 17 years now. And the goal of this art fair is to kind of help put the spotlight on disabled artists. So show that they are, you know, artists as much as anybody else. And so she is actually going today to take a video of the exhibition, and then tomorrow I will be meeting her, and we're going to do a bit of a talk, and I'm going to try to explain what I was thinking with doing these paintings. But I was about to mention that they are all very different. So I think you know, if you didn't know, then you might assume that they were done by different people. And I kind of enjoy
And how
that.
many paintings do you have in the exhibition?
I think it's about 25.
All right. And that's, you've been doing that like for the last year or so, have you painting?
Yeah, well, these are paintings that I've done. Some of them I did like 6 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, but most of them I've done in the past 2 years.
And looking at your headphones, I know that you have a real interest in technology, and
Yeah.
you've set up an association or something, haven't you, in Iceland to do with technology?
Yeah, we have, it's like an innovation center. We call it Brandur, and the idea there is to accelerate the implementation of new technologies. So there was a term which I've forgotten now, but basically we had a momentous change a few years ago where the limitation to acceleration of technology was no longer the invention of new technologies and devices, but the actual implementations of those that had already been invented. So our goal is to kind of
out there.
Yeah, bring
Out there.
bring things sooner to the market, and also to help disabled artists to develop their own companies and stuff like that. So yeah.
And is there anything, any specific piece of equipment that you've come across that's been really useful to you?
The main thing has been my eye-controlled computer. That was a big revolution when I got that device. It was.
And you still use that, do you?
Yeah, I'm using it right now. It's the company that makes them. It's called Tobii.
Yeah.
There are other alternatives available, but I think so far Tobii is way ahead of the competition in accuracy and also with the interface. And it's been fun because I've been working with Tobii a little bit as a beta tester, so I get early access to new interfaces, and then I get to give them feedback on what I'd like, and they are usually very quick in implementing a lot of these things. So it's been very motivating for me to kind of get the sense that my existence has some kind of usefulness.
So with the Toby, is it eye gaze? Is it called eye gaze?
Yeah.
And you can use it picks up the reflection of your eye, and you can type with it.
Yeah, it has an infrared camera which can pinpoint your retinas very, very precisely. And then it has all kinds of artificial intelligences that kind of learn to anticipate where I am looking at each moment. And then because the computer knows where on the screen I'm watching, it can present me with all kinds of options. Left mouse click, left, right mouse click. Computer, stop. That's my echo.
Ah. Yeah, I for some reason my Alexa just suddenly does that. She talks to me for no reason at all.
Yeah.
It's bad enough having a wife talking to you, but having Alexa phone at you as well.
Yeah.
I have to be careful because my mother-in-law is listening. So, what's important in life to you, Brandur? What when you sit there and lying in bed in the evening, what are you thinking are the important things in life?
Well, for me, I need to feel that I'm doing something useful. And I think when I was in the hospital and I was slowly losing my mobility, then I could feel or see how all my future dreams kind of started to fade away, and that was quite depressing. But what kind of kept me going was this thought that I could still be useful. I could still contribute somehow to society, and that led me to I started doing a lot of online courses. I was kind of lucky in that the timing when I was in the hospital, it was when Coursera, which was one of the big massive online learning platforms were emerging. So I was able to kind of educate myself, which I did with the hope that what I learned there might make me more useful somehow in the future. And I feel that I've done some good. Krimpirk has been challenging here in Iceland. It's a small society, small economy, so it's been hard to keep it running. But I have been advising with the government and the city and the municipality on policy matters for innovation and welfare technology. So it's been interesting to see that develop here.
The population of Iceland now is how many?
370. I think we're reaching 80.
380,000. And so in England, we say about 10% of people have a disability of some kind. Is that similar to Iceland? Is there about 37,000 people with a disability?
Yeah, it's about 15% here.
Oh, right, okay.
And
that include older people as well? I mean,
yeah,
people that are cared for in communities and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but it's about 5% have serious disability, but the 15 is broadly speaking open category, and we are a Nordic welfare system, so I think it's always a question of how you define disabilities. So here it's defined, I think, mostly based on how many people are applying for disability or getting some support, some kind of support from the government. So yeah, that's a lot.
Brilliant. So my usual question that I ask everyone, when I come to Iceland to visit you, I'd like to take you out for dinner. And so what would be your favorite 3-course meal? That stuff you gave me the first time I came, which was the fish that was buried under the snow for 6 months.
Yeah, well, that's kind of a joke. It's one of those things which we used to eat when we could, didn't have anything else. And now we maintain it to mess with tourists mostly, I think.
One of the things that amazed me actually was the number of greenhouses and the fact that, you know, with your hot springs and things that you know, being able to grow vegetables and things in greenhouses. And that's the same with heating houses, isn't it? You use geothermic? Yeah.
Yeah, geothermal energy. We pump hot water up out of the ground, and then we use it to charge turbines, which create electricity for us. And then we take the hot water and we use it to heat up actually cold water. We don't pump the hot water into our houses because they have a lot of extra stuff, which then accumulates on the pipes and causes all kinds of troubles. So we heat up cold water and then we pump that out to our houses. So it's very cheap, cheap to warm up our houses. And yeah, it's nice and toasty all the time. And you can take long showers and baths without feeling bad about it.
Okay, so going back to the menu. So your first course, what would your first course be?
I don't know, you know, it's a tricky question. I don't like getting the same thing every time, you know, so I like to be surprised. I would probably ask you know, it depends on the chef. I would ask the chef to make me something unique, but a good first course I had recently was dates wrapped in bacon. Those were very tasty.
Yeah, what are they called? Are they called? It's not called devil's blankets. What are they called?
I don't remember what they were called. They did some kind of French name.
Yeah,
I think, but I forget what it was. But second course, you know, I would definitely go for the lamb here in Iceland. That's still one of those, or the cod. We have a really good cod.
Very good cod. Mm.
Yeah. So it depends if you want.
Do you have a sweet tooth?
Yes.
So
Yes.
sweet would be the most important thing.
Yeah. Well, then next time you come, there's a bakery I go to every time I leave town. They make the best carrot cake I've tasted so far. It's very good.
We had a carrot cake the other week. Our friend's daughter in the lockdown has started a little bakery up. I think she's 18. And
Nice.
it was Lucy and I's anniversary, and she made us a carrot cake. And what was really nice was that Lucy doesn't like icing on it, but I do. So she made half of it without icing and half of it with icing. And she'd put a little flag in the top on each side saying Mr. and Mrs. So it was one of the best carrot cakes I've ever had, actually. It was really nice.
That's a nice touch.
So that was good. So does anybody else have a question for Brandur? You've been going for like 35, nearly 40 minutes. So my coffee, it will be getting cold.
What inspires you to paint next? What's your next picture?
So I'm always going to Icelandic nature when I don't have something specific to paint. But, I've been trying to paint a painting of a friend of mine who passed away a few years, but I keep having difficulty in kind of painting that one. But I also I have a painting of a tractor, old tractor. I kind of like painting something really red in nature. It always creates such a interesting contrast. So these old red tractors that you see out in the fields, here and there are nice. But the main thing that I'm waiting for is an eruption. I've been lucky that I have a really nice Sprinter car that can get me almost anywhere. So I've been more and more, I will sit in the car and paint from there. So now I'm waiting for a good big eruption, and then I'm going to go and spend as much time as I can, as close as I dare.
You're talking about
eruption in England. Was it a couple of years ago?
Eruption in
we've had
England.
earthquakes recently, haven't we?
Yeah, we did.
Volcano chaser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Brandon, do you
Sorry,
do you ski, Brandur?
ski? No, I used to.
But you haven't
But,
tried sit skiing.
No, I'd go on a snow scooter, but I think sliding down a hill would just be like throwing a tire in a hill. I wouldn't be able to do anything, so I don't think I'd enjoy that. I'd maybe do dog sledding. That might be.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Well,
Do they do dog sledding close to you?
I've seen a car. I never heard of it, but I saw a car
Mm.
the other day parked along outside of Reykjavik that had like a big sign on the side of it saying dog sledding Iceland.
Oh,
So I need to Google them, and I'm
yeah.
waiting. We haven't gotten we've gotten a little bit of snow so far, but we don't have the full coverage, which I would wait for. So yeah, I definitely might try that.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I am looking for something adventurous to do, and I do have a plan. I've been speaking with the TV producer here in Iceland about going globe trotting, traveling around the world and visiting some artists, but also I would go and seek out some crazy stuff. And so you went skydiving, didn't you, Baza?
Yeah, I did a few years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd
And
like to do that.
paragliding, you'd like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've done some paragliding here in Iceland. We did a project where we raised some funds and got a big company to design and build a nice paragliding wheelchair, which
Oh,
made it really easy for us to go and paraglide. But then I got
Is that still in use?
Yes. Yeah.
Good excuse to go to Iceland then.
when Tom goes, yeah, I was just going to say, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I've
that'd be
always
awesome.
fancy doing a parachute jump, actually. I think
Mm.
I might do that.
Yeah, I need to try that. But again, it kind of felt like, being thrown out of an airplane and not having any control. It was kind of a,
well, you have a soft landing with all the snow.
yeah.
Brilliant.
It's true.
Okay. So I think I've asked all my questions, and we've been going for 40 minutes. So I think that's coffee up. We are meeting again in 2 weeks for those of you who'd like to come and listen. It's me, unfortunately, so maybe it won't be that interesting, but Alistair Stewart's going to come along and interview me.
That's it.
Nice. Good.
Spread the word, tell your friends, let's grow it, and let's get people to come and have a bit of interest while this lockdown's on. I'm still
Yeah.
to feel the lockdown again at the moment, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Nice.
But
Was it?
we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Maybe the UK artists we might meet. Is it next week? Did we meet last week? Maybe next week. We're doing it every second week, aren't we? So
Yeah.
we'll keep going with our every second week with the UK artists. But it's nice to meet Margaret and to see Belinda again, Sarah. Thank you for joining us. And, anyone that you can think might like to come and listen to us old people drag on a bit. We'd love to tell you about our stories. So see you in 2 weeks' time, everybody. Brandur,
Thank you, Brandur. Thank you, Tom.
you can go
Yeah,
like
thank you.
Thank you, Brandur.
Nice to see you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Well done, Tom.
See you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
Vanessa.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Belinda. Bye, Christine.